Live Local and Troy Trussell is who we have with us today for our Wichita Locals interview. So we're going to get into it in just a sec. Troy, how are you doing today? How's your day going?
Doing pretty good, Ben. Thanks for having me on. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's actually, the weather's pretty nice out now. It's been cold lately, but I'm digging the sunshine.
I know we got sunshine and like 60-degree weather in January. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's great compared to like the fours we were having before. But
That's right.
that's
Yeah,
Wichita for you. Get all the way from -10 to 110. Like you get every season here.
that's right. All four of them.
Before we get into everything, if everyone could kind of like, comment, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff, got to throw in those things at the beginning of these videos. That's enough. And then we'll get into everything. So Troy, why don't you
Very,
kind of
very
start with,
important. Very important.
yeah, very important from one marketer to another.
Right.
Don't forget that part. That's how you get subscribers. um, what do you do, Troy, and what's kind of your story? If you kind of share with folks, who you are and what you do.
Yeah. So I'm Troy Trussell. I own Trussell Media, which is a video production company here in downtown Wichita. We do video production for businesses, whether they want website videos or client testimonial videos to put in their social media, or just straight up social media content for their marketing.
There you
We
go.
do all of those things. And we also have a studio downtown to where we do interviews and, talking head type videos, YouTube videos for people.
Mhm.
We also have a podcast studio, which we have coined the podcast room, and wichitapodcastroom.com. It's a full service studio, so you can rent the studio and use
Mhm.
our equipment.
Yeah.
Bring your own cards. If you want to record audio and video, you can do that.
Yep.
Or we can turnkey it and do the full production for people. So that's kind of in a nutshell what I do. I've been doing video for 20 years. So
Yeah.
got a lot of experience under my belt, and I've seen us go from, film to beta cams all the way to digital little handheld phones,
Yeah, you were
So
doing video before it was like the big hot rage and everybody wants to do it. Now it seems like, what do you think, in like the last 4 years, 5 years, everybody started getting into video, you think?
yeah, pretty much 4 or 5 years ago, it was, kind of turning a corner. And
Hmm.
then when we went through the whole pandemic, then that was like the way to communicate with each other, right? It was
Yeah,
through video. And so a lot of people see the importance of it. And it's the way social media is going.
right.
People like to flip through quick vertical video content. And
Yeah.
so, and
I feel like
YouTube,
it's
all
fun
these
to
things.
explore like what people do online, what they engage with, what works, what doesn't. Like I say fun, like because
Yeah.
you've probably seen how much harder it's gotten and how much rapidly more people consume content. It's like, as a
Yeah.
creator, as a producer, it's like, man, it's hard to keep up to constantly entertain people.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and that's what I tell clients, like the more consistent you can be with your message and the more you can put it out there in a different way,
Mhm.
the more you're going to be seen, and the better off I think you're going to be in your business. So,
Yeah, and it's funny how like a lot of things change, but at the same times they don't. And it's like, how can I say the same thing different ways so that people get it, or it's applicable to their reference, or like, or they just see it at the right time, and it
right.
hits and it lands.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
some ways things have changed, and some ways they haven't at all. Like, so it's interesting to keep up with all that.
Yeah.
So you said you've been doing video for 20 years, and you're from Wichita originally, or where are you from originally?
No, originally I grew up in Shreveport, Louisiana,
Okay,
which is in the northwest corner of Louisiana. So I'm not a Cajun or anything.
sure.
It's basically East Texas culture. I like
Yeah.
to say people can kind of relate to that.
Yeah,
But
actually, that's
lived there
probably a
for,
good perspective to see what it's like from with like seeing Wichita from the outside in, like coming to
yeah.
move here. So, what was it like moving to Wichita? Like when you moved here? When was that you moved here?
So I lived in Shreveport up until I was 31, and we
Hmm.
moved here, which has been, if you can do math, you'll know how old I am. But we've
You
been,
don't need to tell people your age. It's all right.
we've been here like almost, 12 or 13 years. So
Okay.
when we moved here, we hated the cold weather because it
Sure.
doesn't really get too cold down in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Uh, from what I hear, it does now, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the cold weather here was what we hated the most. And
Hmm.
then for a while we couldn't find any good food really
Yeah.
that we had from Louisiana, right?
Right.
And then you just kind of have to search for it. And you find
Yep.
those mom and pop places or those local
Yep.
places that that have the really good food, and then you become a loyal, customer base for them because you
Right.
found something you really love.
Well,
So
Wichita really does have a huge food scene. It just wasn't really out there as much as everybody said. Because kind of like you said, like you had to kind of know where it's at. You had to find it. It's kind of hidden, And honestly, I feel like Wichita, the whole city is kind of that way, where it's like the whole city of Wichita is hidden from like the U.S. is like a treasure, and then even within the
yeah,
city, there's little treasures within it of cool local places and things to do, like on
yeah.
everything. So,
Yeah, for sure. So like food and the weather were the two biggest like culture shocks that we
mhm.
experienced, my wife and I, just from moving here.
Yeah,
But like the positive elements, man, it's like low cost of living is fantastic.
yep,
Uh Great place to raise a family. There's good
yep,
schools. The
yep,
public schools are good schools, the private schools are good schools.
yeah,
Um, yeah, just all around, just great family atmosphere. And it's pretty safe. I mean, the crime rate's really
yeah.
low. So
Yep.
yeah,
So if you
a
had to
lot of
pick
good
like
things.
one thing, what would you say is your favorite thing about Wichita?
One favorite thing, I would have to say the low cost of living. I mean,
Hmm.
that could, I mean, that's like the biggest draw, I think, for to outsiders. And
Sure.
I've talked about that with to people who have thought about coming here or thought about
Right.
moving to a different place. I'm like, dude, check the cost of living, because
Yeah.
the house that my family lives in right now we would have never been able to buy that in Louisiana.
Right.
And we have 5 kids, so we'd be stacked on top of each other down.
Yeah.
But up here, we're kind of spread out, so it's really
Right.
nice.
Well,
But
it's interesting because it's like that low cost of living is a big draw, but it's also like the one that you probably know from living here now long enough is like you're gonna have a bunch of extra time, like because it doesn't take that much time to get anywhere to and from work or to anywhere.
yeah,
So, like, man, I have a lot more free time. Not only do I have more money, I have more time too. And it's like I got to figure out what to do with myself. It's
yeah,
like I got money and time just by living in a different city in Wichita. Like that sounds pretty great on
yeah,
everything. So that's one that
yeah,
I think most people don't take into account the most of like, the cost of living or the cost of things, like not just money cost, but like time cost. How much time they spend traveling or going to places in other bigger cities. Like you have a lot more time
yeah,
with stuff, not just money, like time too. So it's kind
yeah,
of you
for
gotta
sure. Because a
make up for
commute in
it.
Dallas could be hour or 2 hours, depending on where you're
Mhm.
going. And Wichita, the saying around here is, you can get from one side to the other in 20 minutes.
Yep.
So
Yeah. So what's
yeah.
the one thing you think we could improve on or what you don't like about the city on everything? This is where we're gonna be objective, not just all rose-colored glasses.
So one thing we could improve, I mean, I will turn this in a positive. I mean, one of the things that we are always improving is the roads
Yeah,
and like the main highways and everything. Like
yeah,
we drove back to Louisiana a couple years ago,
mhm.
and I was scared to cross some of the bridges because I thought it was like termites holding hands, right? I didn't
Right.
know if it was going to fall apart by the time we got to the other side of it or whatever.
Yeah,
So I do hate the orange cones and I hate seeing them all over the place.
yeah,
But I really am, I'm glad that our city goes above and beyond to fix those things. And
yeah,
hopefully they're using the tax dollars that we pay
right,
in the right areas.
right.
So
It's kinda one of those things where it's like, yeah, we have a lot of road construction, but that's because 'cause we're fixing the road, so it's like, have it one way or the other, like, either have crappy
yeah,
roads or be dealing with road construction consistently, like, so, yeah, I agree with you that, like, we do take good care of our roads, it's just that we're pretty consistent on road construction, though, with that as well. Because I know right when you cross the Oklahoma border, you can tell, it's just like
oh yeah.
potholes, like
Exactly. And I
so,
just got back from Colorado from a snow skiing trip, and we,
yep,
get into Colorado, it's like,
yep,
same thing. And we crossed
yeah,
back over to Kansas coming home, and it was like, man, smooth roads, even way out west.
yep. And
So doing
it's
something
smooth
right.
roads and a whole lot of nothing and a lot of cows.
Exactly. Yeah, for
So,
sure.
Troy, how can we get in touch with you? How can we support you and what you're doing and your business and everything that goes on with that?
Yeah, so Trussell Media, if you're a business and you're looking to get some video work done, you can find us at trussellmedia.com. And it's right behind me up there.
There you
It's
go.
like Russell with a T in front of it. So it's two S's, two L's,
There you go.
trussellmedia.com. But if you're looking for podcasts, you can go to
Mhm.
wichitapodcastroom.com, and we can hook you up there as well. And
Okay.
if you are, I know you mentioned the food scene. If you're a
Yep.
foodie out there, if you love food,
Mhm.
We have a food channel or a food blog. It's called Live Local.
Yeah.
And we do a bunch of videos where we highlight those local mom and pop like restaurants and stuff that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, Live
So
Local is a great resource to check out Wichita and just all the different resources and things that are in there. So definitely go hit that up with what Troy's doing. We appreciate having you on today, Troy. Appreciate your time and info and everything. And if you guys want to check out anything else around Wichita, check out some other videos, follow the links below, or go hit up Troy's Live Local page too and see what we do from there. But appreciate you watching as always. We'll see you.